class, tiny circle of friends. We are all in different cities and we are all in different areas. Some of us are working, studying, or studying while working. And despite these different areas, we seem to share similar stories about drama at work or in our college environment. Now, I define drama as an annoyance that adds additional stress to the job. So, okay, it's when people get on your nerves, not the job itself. So, as we're going through the stories, I'm realizing there has to be a better way for us to coexist with our friends without this much drama. Well, I created a few steps that have been working for me and I'm happy to share with you guys today. Alright, step 1. Rewind and reflect, also known as what did I do? I want you guys to replay your most recent drama situation in your head like a movie. Ignore all the emotion and just focus on you. But for now, let's just think about this hypothetical. So you are on a group project. You each have your own individual assignments and then you all divide up the work. But then someone becomes unresponsive, not answering calls, and they go ghost. Then you or someone else has to now pick up that additional slack. So in the brief, a small, very thin lapse in judgment, you went to dinner with friend. Then all of a sudden your cause comes back and they surprisingly know everything you just said. No, what did I do in this situation? I would to someone who was not my confidant. Why would I do that? Sometimes we create this unspoken bond with people that only exists in our head. They don't owe me their discretion. I just assume it was there. So we are not going to go down a rabbit hole trying to figure out why they did that. It doesn't matter. They did it. But the goal in this step is self-reflection. We need to focus on what did we do so we can avoid it in the future. Step 2. Coming back to reality, also known as it needs to stop. Okay, so you guys ever think about problems before you get to work? Well, sometimes I did it, and I'm guilty of it. I think about all of the situation in my head, and then I get mad just thinking about it. So I'm telling myself, no, you are just being prepared, Tarisa. You are just making sure that you can handle whatever they have got to throw at you. But you're not. What you're really doing is setting yourself up and creating this anxiety in your head that doesn't exist. Then we also have to be careful about listening that other people's made up scenarios. Here's what I mean. Let's say you are in a canteen. Your friends are talking about other people and you're sitting here like, yeah, it must be it. You're listening to this as if this is facts. Meanwhile, you don't know what exactly the person you are talking about is going through. But you're over here listening and you're listening to their made up scenario that now could impact how you choose to interact with that person throughout the day. Whether we're creating fake stories in our head or listening to other people's made up stories, it needs to stop. The goal in this step: stop stressing over things that haven't happened. Alright, step 3, vent and release, also known as we need to stop. It's good to have a vent buddy. This is your lover, your best friend, your therapist, whatever you need them to be in the moment. This is not like the person in step 1 that just happened to be in a show. You have an established relationship with your vent buddy. When you have got burning up inside but you cannot release, so what should you do? You go to your vent buddy. You talk about it, you get mad, and that's the time for that. Get mad, get angry, scream, do whatever you need to do to get it out. Now, here's the hard part. You don't have to switch that tone to positivity. I truly believe in positive and negative energy, and it has a way of countering our moods throughout the day. You got to think of things like, okay, where do I go from here? What can I do differently? And then, if you are the friend buddy, is it your responsibility to lead your friend back to the positive? No. The other hard part, you have to then apply those learnings to the situation. You cannot carry that resentment around. If you do, that one-off situation now becomes a pattern. Pattern behavior is harder to ignore than a one-off situation. The goal in this step is let's turn our rant session into a productive conversation. Step 4. Learn a new language, also known as we need to talk. You have to know when it is time to pick up the phone. You have to know when it is time to have face to face. These face-to-face conversations are not easy. They are difficult, but they are necessary. The goal is to try to understand the other person's perspective. So you start the conversation with things like, okay, you got upset when I blah blah blah. Or you will say things like, okay, you've already had the situation handled, and then I. So that way you can see exactly where they are coming from. Also, don't try to make people like you. We all have our own upbringings. We all have our own experiences. And we all have our own communication styles as the new generation are entering the workplace or college. We are also adapting to it. So as we're adjusting to that, we need to at least try to understand what type of style of communication they use. The goal in this step is to really understand their work language and accept the fact that it may be different than yours. Step 5. Recognize and protect, also known as we need to talk or work. When we realize we are in a toxic, manipulative, selfish environment, but we're trying to avoid trauma and not take accountability to it. So we have to walk away. You leave that conversation by taking the first available exit. You are not doing this for them. You are doing this for you. You have to protect your energy. Don't try to figure out why they would do this, and no more coming to that conversation. It is what it is. They did what they did and were given the opportunity. They would probably do it again. But know that you recognize that. So that way you can act accordingly. We typically try to set expectation on other people's and then get disappointed when they are don't follow through. We have to learn to accept people when they are and just ourselves to handle those situations. The goal in this step is to recognize when it is time to professionally walk away from someone. Guys, we're not going to change the way people act in everywhere. We are not. And for that reason, there will always be workplace or college trauma. But if we stick to the steps and put in the work that comes with it, we can learn to avoid it. Alright, my name is Tarisa Nurmayada. Thank you for being my van buddies. Thank you so much for your time.